Welcome to my channel. I'm Renee with Cook Along. Today we have a fabulous recipe. It's 4 pizzas in under an hour and 2 pizzas in under 35 minutes. We're going to introduce our rating systems. I'm going to do this before every recipe to help you decide what's the best dinner for you tonight. So this recipe is going to be a 5 out of 10 for time. It's not going to be a 1 at Thanksgiving dinner. It's not going to be a 10 quick instant pot recipe. It's going to be right about in the middle. For 2 pizzas, I would say it's going to be about a 7 or 8. This is a 10 out of 10 for your children, your family. They're going to love it. So yes, 1 being not so much, this is for adults. 10 being, yes, this is a fan favorite. I have a couple kids with allergies and myself included. So I'm going to list the allergies here. We have wheat and we have dairy. So if you need to make any changes to that, go for it. I can attest to doing a different type of gluten-free or wheat-free flour with this one. But I have some nut allergies, so I usually avoid that. With the cheese, it shouldn't be too much of a change. You can find a dairy-free cheese, pre-shredded even, and you're good to go. Saves you a lot of time that way too. For this recipe, you are going to need an oven of some kind for this to work. You will also need at least 2 pans, but 4 sheet pans would be the best option. You may be looking for the perfect recipe, and I hope that this is the one for you tonight. Even if you're meal planning, it's hard to get that motivation. So this is my call of action to you, yes you, to get up off the couch, to stop what you're doing with the kids for a moment and get into the kitchen and start going, because you got no time to waste. Your partner's coming home from work. Yes, you are maybe a stay-at-home person. You have to get up to work in the morning, so you need to get dinner going so you can get to bed to get that started. Whatever your situation is, you can do this. I got your back. Let's get up and cook along with Renee.
Okay, we got this. So we're just going to jump right in. We're going to grab our supplies. So you're going to want to grab 4 cookie sheets of some kind. Pretty decent size, medium ones you can see here. You need a KitchenAid or your hands, and then if you have a Cuisinart, you can also use your grater and hands for that. You need 2 to 3 bowls, a garlic press, measuring cups, and then 2 to 3 big and little spoons or teaspoon and tablespoons. You're going to want a silicone marinade brush, oven mitts, an oven or convection oven. Now I'm just going ahead and cleaning up the mess that was my kitchen. You can see me going into fast mode. We're getting this stuff done. Oh yes, and you need a chef's knife and a cutting board. So go ahead and pause and grab that, or clean your kitchen and come back and watch that part. I'm just gathering all of my supplies up because we are going to get motivated to make these pizzas that I promised. Some days, honestly, some days I feel like it's just easier to make it. Just spend an hour than having to go through the struggle of getting all the kids and the baby ready, maybe having to wake her or him up from a nap. It's just easier sometimes when you have kids, honestly, just to stay home and make it from scratch, at least in my opinion. And yes, just putting away those dishes. It looks like actually, yeah, my husband did clean last night. Thank you. Shout out to my husband for cleaning up. He loves to help kind of, if we have the energy, clean up the end of the night. So when I wake up, it's all ready to go. Here's my KitchenAid. I'm getting out. I'm about to get out my ingredients now. So here's what you need as far as ingredients go. Hopefully your kitchen's ready. You need some olive oil. You need yeast. You need sugar. Any type of sweetener will do. Maple syrup, coconut sugar, white sugar, anything you got. Flour, seasoning. So you can do garlic powder. I have that lovely Costco garland mix that I love to use. It does have a little bit of salt in there, but I'm a salt fiend, as you'll find out. I just love salt. I feel like I can never taste it, so I always just have a lot in my food. So go ahead and if you can do fresh garlic as well if you want your. I do usually do that, but I'm in a time crunch, and this is a time sensitive video. It's a pretty simple pizza recipe here, but if you feel like it's not going to take much longer and you already have all the other tools, go ahead and grab that garlic press and a garlic clove or 2. You can put it right into the sauce that we're going to do. And you know, you may This may take longer as a footnote if you don't have a KitchenAid, if you don't have a Cuisinart for shredding cheese. This is going to take you longer. I would say that this would probably take you more like an hour and a half to do 4 pizzas, and that's if you're grating and kneading pretty quickly. So keep going on those ingredients. Go ahead and grab your salt, your tomato paste. You can just do 1 can, one of those little guys. Cornmeal, just any type of cornmeal grit will do. Garlic clove, 1 or 2, and that's what I was talking about in case you want to put straight up garlic in there. I can't remember if I did. I think I did in here. And then basil, and then mozzarella, cheddar, and Parmesan cheese. You're going to want at least 8 ounces of mozzarella, maybe 2 to 4 ounces of cheddar, and just some parm. But honestly, whatever amount of cheese you have will work. You can even just do more of like a kind of flatbread style, just a little bit of cheese on there. Just use what you have on hand, because this is just kind of a grab and go, let's get her done, whatever we got in our pantry kind of recipe. So go ahead and get those things out. And I know that you're just got to get motivation. You know, some things that help me get motivated. I like to put on music. I like to light a candle sometimes. Like I say, set the stage, get the kitchen nice and clean, so I'm just ready to go. Get in that cooking mode. Sometimes I even put my apron on. As you can see here, it gets a little messy and my sleeves ended up getting pretty dirty, but I think that kind of helps shift my mindset into, okay, it's cooking time now. And then I just keep practicing those routines. I feel like that's kind of what helps us sometimes. You can also add some pepper. You can add red pepper flakes as well. If you want to grab those out, maybe it's just you and you love spice. You could also, if you want to do something other than cheese pizza, go ahead and grab some pepperoni. You can use salami. I've even used chomps, you know, those like meat sticks. I have used those in a pinch. Just kind of slice them up. If you have some cooked sausage, you can even, any like frozen chicken, pre-frozen chicken pieces. I mean, you can really make any type of pizza you want. I'm just doing a typical cheese because I didn't even chop an onion to add. Usually I always do a veggie, but I was in a mad dash. You can also add salad and things to the side if you would like to do that. Okay, so here I'm doubling this recipe. So underneath in the description, I'll have the doubled recipe and then the single recipe. So this is double for the 4 pizza. So if you want to do 4 pizzas, this is how much you need to do. You're going to have to do 4.5 teaspoons of yeast. Or if you do yeast packets, you need to do 2 yeast packets. I like to be cost effective, and I go to Costco and I buy just a big bag of yeast. And I find that that's, you know, works for us. I like to put it in the fridge to extend its life. So I throw it in a mason jar, and then I put the rest either in the fridge if it's getting kind of old in the bag in the way back, or back into the cabinet if it's, you know, relatively new, as the fridge will help extend its life a bit longer. So I'm getting out a measuring cup. I'm going to fill that with hot water. My sink doesn't get too hot, so I put it on the hottest water I can do. You want to make sure that your finger can kind of remain in the hot water without getting scorched. If it can't, it's too hot. You will kill off your yeast that way. So now I'm adding my 2 cups of hot water. And if you already added a bit of sweetener to your yeast because you're like a bread connoisseur, that's awesome. My methodology is always kind of random and different. So this time I'm doing 1 teaspoon sugar. You can see my boys here, we're all in pajamas pretty much because we just got over horrible sickness and I am exhausted. So you'll see everyone in pajamas. So I'm just stirring that up. I like to stir my yeast and get my sugar kind of everywhere in the yeast mixture. I feel like it helps it get bubbly a little bit faster. Right there, I'm just using organic cane sugar from Costco. It's like a Costco girly over here. And now I'm grabbing, while that's becoming active, because this isn't instant yeast, it is active yeast. You could do instant, but I just do active. So I'm trying to make sure it's activated. In the meantime, I'm just setting up my Cuisinart with a regular, just typical blade it comes with. I'm getting out my cheese. So you can go ahead and grab your cheese. If you're doing Parmesan, I would recommend just grating that straight up with the small size grater. I wouldn't do the Cuisinart method here. And I've learned a lot about this. I used to use the grater on my Cuisinart, but the cheese was so soft that it kind of had issues and it gets stuck between the top of the blade and the Cuisinart, and actually broke the little clip that holds my plastic like bucket to the motor. And so I just decided to do it this way. And oh, yep, oven. Forgetful me. I should have reminded you at the beginning. You're going to want to set it to 450 bake. You could even do higher than that. You could do 460, 470, and somewhere under 500. If you have a hot oven like me and convection bake at 445, that works really well. If you have a little convection oven, like a little microwavable convection oven, you can use that as well. Like if you're just in an apartment and you're just making one or two of these guys. I've even thought about experimenting doing 2 pizzas at a time, but I'm just not quite there yet. But one day I want to use both ovens. I do have a convection oven in the background there, and I do use it a lot. So I thought it'd be fun to do an experiment where I'm cooking 2 pizzas simultaneously. It'll save some time that way. So here I'm cutting a big chunk off of mozzarella. I get this from Azure in 5 pounds. So if you do not, just make sure you get at least 8 ounces or just approximately. And I'm breaking that up with my hands. And I probably should have, I was in a hurry, so I didn't break these down fine enough. And my blade did not like that, as you'll see in just a little bit. So break those up into really small pieces. I'm adding a little bit more. I've pretty much been able to eyeball it, so it looked like maybe a 2-inch slice, and maybe 2.5, and then maybe a 1.5 to 2-inch slice off of that big square. And then this is some cheddar. I'm just cutting off a little chunk of that. Ever since I've been buying the big blocks of mozzarella, it's softer cheese, so it does go bad a little faster. I've been using mozzarella for a lot more yummy dishes. It's great for lasagnas. It's great for casseroles and the pizzas, obviously. So I'm just cutting off a little bit of cheddar. You don't have to do cheddar. You can literally do whatever. You could probably even do cream cheese. I mean, you could do all kinds of cheese. There's so many types of cheeses. You can do soft cheese, hard cheese, a blend. You could do fresh mozzarella. That would be yummy too. I have not tried that yet, but I am tempted. Okay, so when you do the Cuisinart and you have, I know my camera angles, you guys, I just finally got a tripod, and I am so pumped. I just was working on filming for another video, and it was like night and day. I'm so excited. But yeah, you can see the big chunks. If you can kind of see at the top there, it's not fully blending, and what I'm taking is a fork and my fingers and just trying to carefully remove some of the big pieces that are kind of getting wedged. But if you did it correctly and you did lots of tiny little small pieces, make sure you're holding that down. If it starts kind of getting jammed, you do not want to force it. You will burn out your motor. So be very careful to just pulse. And if it starts getting kind of jammed, just stop and just get the cheese unstuck. And what I ended up doing was breaking it up into half and half, because I did not break my cheese small enough because I was in a hurry. But ironically, I made it harder on myself, and it took longer for me to get the cheese out. But again, this is so much faster than grating my own cheese. There is no way I could grate this much cheese in that amount of time. So it really does save you so much time. And you can get Cuisinarts so many places. You can get them used on Facebook Marketplace. You can ask a relative if you can borrow one. You can, they have sales on them. I know Costco had a sale, I think this last holiday season on Cuisinarts. My mom always she used to be a caterer, and she just heavily relied on Cuisinarts. So growing up with so many kids in the family, my mom had 5 kids, so yeah, I'm a Cuisinart kind of gal, and I've had this one for a while. It's really broken down. I honestly probably need a new one. So here I am just putting about half in. And if you're not, just grate away. I mean, at this point, you might have gotten halfway there. So go ahead and just grate your cheese. The good old grater. I used to do this by hand, and so I understand the pain if that's what you're doing right now. Because I have been there, like manically grating cheese on my old Ross like grater that I got like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. And I need a new one. It's not sharp at all anymore at this point. But yeah, there I'm doing my second batch. But yeah, I can relate to the grating drama. And be careful with your fingers, especially on that soft cheese. You can cut your finger, which I did a little bit ago. Oh my gosh. It was before my last little girl was born, so I want to say it was maybe almost a year ago, but dang, I remember it hurt so bad. So it was the first time I'd ever done that, so be careful with the mozzarella. It's sneaky like that. I'm going ahead and putting the Cuisinart into the bucket and the blade into the sink, and then I'm putting the motor away because you can see I have a galley kitchen. I have a lot of stuff on it. We've experimented putting things on and off the counter, but this is kind of where we've landed. And it's, I only have a 7-month-old, so it's still, we have 2 toddlers, a 7-month-old, and a 9-year-old. So there's lots of different ages and lots of little ones at this moment. So it's a little crazy. Okay, so I'm just kind of getting my workspace cleaned and ready for the next part of our pizza making. I'm going to grab my can opener. So if you haven't got one of those, go ahead and grab one real quick and get your tomato paste going. I actually had my youngest grab the tomato paste out of our pantry in the basement, and if you do have kids, utilize them, even toddlers. My 4-year-old knows where the tomato paste is, and that is his job when it's pizza night. One of his jobs, usually, to grab my paste for me. They usually fight about who's going to bring the paste, so that's pretty fun. Sometimes I just have them do it and then put one upstairs for the next week. So after you open that, you can go ahead and scoop it into your bowl. Looks like I was struggling there. I'm going to leave that because I've now recorded over this, so I'm not going back. So you're going to see fun little me trying to jimmy rig a tripod situation. So my yeast mixture is bubbly. So I did open my tomato paste, but I am not mixing my marinade sauce yet. I am gonna or my pizza sauce, I'm gonna go ahead and just start in with the flour. So you're gonna do about 4 cups of flour, 1 in reserve, because everybody's flour is different and humidity is different. So get your 4 cups of flour in with the yeast mixture, and then you're gonna put 1 cup on the side there. I'm getting another cup because I have one with a handle that actually fell off, and I just ploofed a bunch of flour everywhere. So that's me going, oh man, why did I do that? I don't know if you're into astrology at all, but it's definitely Mercury retrograde. I feel like everything that went wrong kind of did go wrong the last 2 weeks or week and a half for me. So yeah, I'm not surprised. with that happening. And you're going to want to add about 2 teaspoons of Himalayan salt. Now, if you have sea salt, you might want to do 1.5 teaspoons. If you have table salt, maybe 1.5 teaspoons as well, maybe a teaspoon. I feel like Himalayan's not as strong in salt flavor, I guess. I feel like when I use sea salt, I don't have to use as much. But you want the dough to have some flavor, but you don't want to put too much salt in to kill your yeast. Not that we're going to let this dough rise, because this is going to be a thin crust pizza. Optionally, you can add some wheat bran. I like to add it. I get it from Azure. I don't do whole wheat flour because I like the ability to make it without bran. Oopsie, there's another poof. Make sure you put it on stir and slow before you add your bran. But I do like to add bran in there. It helps with fiber. It's where all the nutrition of the yeast is, or not yeast, oh my gosh, tired mom brain. It's where all the nutrition of the wheat is. And they strip that when they process it, but you can add it back in, which is awesome. And then you can control how much fiber you want to put in there. So now I'm adding a little reserve at a time, a little more reserve at a time out of my cup. And I'm just watching the bottom of the kitchen, and you'll see it. Like sometimes if you do less flour and you just give it time, let it absorb. And once you let it absorb, you'll see it kind of spins it and it kind of gunks onto the bottom. It doesn't really turn into a full ball. It kind of just whips it and it sticks to the bottom. That means you need a little more flour. But flour takes time to absorb water, so you don't want to just toss it all in because we're not weighing it. So we're kind of doing this by eye. So now while that's mixing and kneading, I'm going to prepare the sauce for the pizza. And I am going to be using basil that I dried from my garden last year. I actually had the best basil crop ever. And I was so pumped about it. I was just so happy with my basil. So I picked these beautiful bunches of basil and dried them on our fireplace in autumn. It was so pretty. And it made our house smell amazing. And now I just have a big bag of dried basil leaves that I like to crumble and use. I added a little more flour right there because I'm kind of watching it as I'm making my sauce. You might not be able to make sauce because you might be kneading the dough. So if you're kneading the dough, you want to make sure that the texture is soft, but it's not too firm. That was an alarm going off. So yeah. This is real life here. We're doing a real life, live time recording session at night after said dinner with a tired, teething baby in a swing next to me. So she's trying to stay calm, and I'm trying to use my calm voice to calm her down. So I'm kind of doing both, but you might be kneading. Yes, you might be kneading, and that's going to take some time. So don't worry, the sauce goes real fast. You can do that when you're par baking. You can do that when you're baking your first, I guess you'd have to make it for it. Yeah, you can do it when you're par baking, or you could just do it really, really quick once you're done kneading. It won't take much time. It's the easiest sauce ever. All you're going to do is, you can't really see all that I'm doing here. It looks like I am putting fresh garlic. I chose the fresh garlic tonight. So you could do garlic powder here. So yeah, just put your paste into the bowl. Then you're going to take 2 pastes worth of water. So like once the can's empty, fill it up twice with water, each time dumping it into the bowl. Then you're going to add your garlic cloves, and make sure, I like to peel my garlic by pinching it and then pulling the dry part off. And I do take out the meat from inside the peeler in big chunks and just kind of pull it apart with my fingers and use it, because I feel like I've grown garlic and it's a pain, and every bit of garlic counts, and I love it. So I say go for that. And mix it up, add a little olive oil. You can do, as much as you feel. I think maybe at least a tablespoon. You can add pepper, salt, basil. You can add a garlic powder. You can do a garlic powder mix. You can do thyme, oregano, Any of the Italian, and like an Italian spices blend would work here. You know, maybe about at least a tablespoon of some sort of herb. For me, I just grabbed like 3 or 4 leaves and crushed them. I kind of just crushed the dried leaves whole into there. Adding salt, so don't forget your salt. It's what brings out all the flavor. Some people like to do like a little pinch of sugar with their, you know, red sauces with the tomatoes, especially if it's like canned and not garden tomatoes. They're not as sweet, so go ahead and do a little pinch of that if you want. It would taste pretty yummy. I've done that before in spaghetti. Okay, so here's my dough. It's all done. You can see that it's not on the sides. It's not sticking. It kind of has a pull to it, and it's still soft, but it's not too stiff, but it's pulling, and it just kind of comes off of the sides, but not kind of gunking on the bottom. So I'm just gonna put that over to the side. I'm gonna move my cheese. You can see those beautiful pretzels in that bag that my husband made. Oh my gosh, we make soft pretzels together as our date night because restaurants are expensive. So we'll make like that and cheese sauce, and we'll do crackers and cheese on top of that, and like cut fruit, like a little charcuterie board. So I'm just getting out. This was a gift from my mom. I think I got it for my birthday. She sells these at her store, and they're so cool. I've never had it. It's like a mat with circles around it. It's like for making pie crusts and pizzas, and it will show you about, and I don't know, I guess I just like having the visual. When I was making pizzas before this without a mat, they would be kind of like oval squares. So I think something about seeing the circle underneath works for me. And it doesn't shift too much. If you don't have one of these, don't worry. You don't need it. You can make square oval pizzas. You could even just like make it this like a big rectangle, like the bottom of your pan. I've seen people do that, like a big square pizza. I like the traditional circle ones. I just love cutting them. I don't know, there's something about it. It's like the triangle wedges. So I really like doing it this way. So I'm just separating my dough into 4. If you made 2 pizzas and you did not double the recipe, go ahead and just do your 2, cut it in half. Just bloop. I just kind of eyeball it. It's not perfection here. And then I just kind of went around and made it into a puck. I used both my hands and kind of like got some flour in my hands and kind of went that way. Now I'm rolling out my dough. I always go from the middle up, and then I go middle down. So I put pressure. Putting a little flour. I did put a lot of flour down because my dough was decently moist, and you are going to want to put some of that extra flour you didn't use in your dough making to just keep it in your cup and then use it for that. If you need to get more too, just grab some more, sprinkle it down, and then I roll it up from middle to up, from middle to down. I keep doing that, and then eventually I flip it sideways, and then I do middle up to middle down, and then I start taking it diagonally from the middle and then going out to the direction it needs to be pulled. I used to just go like up, down all the way. And I just feel like that method does not work as well. I also do this, like, this is how I roll out tortillas when I make homemade tortillas. So I'll do a video on that too. The rolling out kind of drives me nuts with those. I love just doing it 4 times here. And I'm making it really thin because I'm doing thin crust pizza. When I par bake this, it is going to rise slightly. So you're going to want it decently thin, not to the point where it's like falling apart see-through. I want to say, I don't know, a little less than 1/4 inch. Yeah, a little thinner than that. I would say maybe even like 1/8. So you can see I kind of put my hands underneath it to kind of pick it up. You might have it stick, and that's what's happened to me. Just kind of like carefully pull it and like kind of use your fingernails and kind of gently get it off. So now I'm going to get my cornmeal. So go ahead and grab that, and you're just going to sprinkle that all over the bottom of your tray. That's going to help keep it from sticking. I actually learned this when, shout out, I used to work at a cafeteria at my college, and I was like, there's different stations, and I loved being pizza girl, and I learned that you could just put cornstarch on the bottom of the tray, and that's what those, like when I ate the pizza, I'm like, oh, that's what that is. That's so cool. So I've always loved that method for making pizza. Now I'm just grabbing a fork. You might have one of those little special cracker hole doohickeys, but I can just use a fork, and I go around about an inch, like to make a spot for where the crust will bubble up. So I make sure not to go all the way to the crust. So I kind of do an outline, and then I go down one way, and then I flip my fork, and then I go in between the rows I made. So I poke about every half an inch down in rows, and then I flip my fork vertically and go down vertically, so it makes like almost like a line. So here you can see I've made like a little pattern. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's just a lot of holes, because otherwise you're going to get big bubbles when you par bake it. You can fix that, and I'll show you how in just a bit, because it does happen to me even with all my multitude of holes. I realized that my oven was not quite up to temp yet, so I did put it on the side, and yours might not be either. So I'm just like, okay, well, if that's the case, you could have put it in the oven. You're going to set it for 4 minutes if you did. If you did not put it in your oven, go ahead, and yours is still heating up as well, go ahead and just do your next pie crust. You're doing great. And I wanted to say that this might look like, wow, she's going so fast. How is she doing this? Like, I'm still like rolling out my first one. I need to pause it. I've been making pizza night now. I picked one night a week, and I just started making it every single week because I knew it's something my kids would love, and I really wanted to get better at it, and I just started perfecting it. I'm sure I'm going to learn more like tricks and stuff, but I've been doing this now for, oh God, maybe like almost a year. So I've really gotten it down to a science, especially with one oven. Like if you have 2 ovens, oh my gosh, it goes so fast with this. But this is kind of my method, like my timing for having one oven. It's going to work. The timing of this almost would work better with that. So it's a little bit better of an angle. You can see me rolling it out. I'm just using my little mat, just making it look as much of a circle as I can. I like the kind of rolling pins that don't have the handle sometimes, although bigger rolling pins are nice because it goes across the whole stretch of the pizza a little better, but I wanted to use this one tonight because I do have a really big one that I use as well. This one I usually use for tortillas. So I'm grabbing that. I'm just kind of carefully like resting it, like grabbing it from underneath. I'm not like pulling it up and letting it hang because the weight of it will kind of pull and make holes. So I am putting that on the tray now. I know this is just a shot of my countertops. It's really hard to move your camera every little bit, so you can just like look at the beauty of like the kitchen and listen to my voice. You're probably busy rolling out a pizza right now, so yeah, you don't really have time to look at the screen unless it's a special moment. So go ahead and put that on there. I am sticking my first par bake into the oven, and I am going to put holes into my pizza. Looks like I've already done that. I think that's where what I was doing in the in-between there. I'm a speed demon right now because it is getting late. I am trying to get this done before my husband gets back. I know he's really hungry, and my kids are starting to lose it, so I am in a rush. This is why I narrate over, because at this time of night, my kids are so hungry and so over the day and so tired that it's just a little chaotic. So this is my third dough. So now if you're done with you're maybe even put your second one into the oven. You're going to do it for 4 minutes, like I said. And once that's done, you might be ready for your sauce and your cheese and your toppings. So you can skip forward to the part of the video where we do that. But if you are making 4 pizzas like me, go ahead and stick with me here. I'm working on getting my videos to where they can like a time stamped, like different chapters, so that you can jump right to where you need to go. I'm still learning YouTube. This is going to be my fun, videos looking back, like, God, so cringeworthy probably watching those things back, but that's okay. I'm learning, and it's just a fun hobby for me. I've always, like when I was in high school, every time I took they had us do these little job tests back in the day on in the computer lab, when they had computer labs, and in the library. And I remember I got film director, and I was like, what am I everyone else got like normal things like lawyer, doctor, mechanic. I'm like, how does one go about just like becoming a film director? Like, that seems like a really difficult thing. So I took the test again, and I actually got documentary filmmaker, like director. I'm like, okay, equally hard and equally sad, because I don't really want to go to film school. I don't know, I don't think a lot of people make it in that field, but I don't know. So I'm going ahead and poking the 3rd pizza dough with my fork, getting all the holes. Usually my pizza would have been hot, or not my pizza. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so tired. Usually my oven would have been hot enough that I would have been about ready to put my 3rd pizza into par bake, but it looks like here I am behind. So that's okay if that happens to you. Like I said, I've been doing this for a year, and I just kind of go with it, and I don't stop. I'm always doing something. That's what I've learned with this, because if I always am doing something, baking stuff, it gets done faster, and usually I can have an almost clean kitchen, and then I can relax. And then if it's almost clean, then I don't have to worry about doing too much afterwards. I can kind of relax. Always chasing that moment of relaxation with having young kids. So after I did the holes on that one, my oven hasn't gone off yet, so I'm just rolling up my next dough. So I really want to get all of that ready. So just work as fast as you can without stressing yourself out. Once the par bake process is going, you want to kind of keep going until everything's par baked. And then if you need to like take a break, you need to go breastfeed, you need to help break up a fight between your kids, like that's the time to do it. So you want to just try to allocate, like kind of focus, get that done. Okay, my oven went off, so yours might have too. That happens while you're rolling out. It's fine. Just pause where you're rolling out your dough, grab out one, and if you have one ready to go into the oven, go ahead and slide that in. Be very aware when you're switching pans like I did, that you try to wake yourself up enough to not just like grab accidentally a hot pan. I've definitely done that before with sleep deprivation and burnt myself, so got to be careful when doing the pan exchange there. I'm going back to rolling out my 4th dough. I am almost done with that. Yeehaw. And if you've made it this far, like, I'm so proud of you. It is so hard. I mean, any job's hard, but being a mom's really hard, and having to rally yourself some days. Like maybe you've only gotten 3 hours of sleep for the last like 2 months, and you have to rally, because if you, especially the like more kids you have, or if you have a young one and some like older kids, and trying to balance that is so tricky when you're so tired, and you have to almost have like a routine and time to do this. Okay, so go ahead and But I found some tricks. I'm going to help you out. Like, I'm here for you. Like, we got this. I'm going to walk you through it and encourage you to not be perfect. I'm going to encourage you to keep practicing. Like, maybe you pick a day once a week that you do pizza. And then you'll be like me, and you might even learn some things and do things that I haven't even thought of. You won't need to watch my videos anymore. You can watch it for a different recipe. So I went ahead and finished doing the holes on my 4th crust. And now I'm just getting ready to do a mixture on the crust once I am done getting it out of the oven. So I'm just doing a shot from above here. So I used that garlic seasoning salt. Like I said, it tastes so good. So really get yourself some sort of mix. It does not have to be this brand, but get one that's kind of all over. I mean, this has a little bit of everything in it. It's like onion powder. It has salt. It has, it has rosemary. It has like a bunch of Italian spices, basil. I think it even has like red chili pepper flakes in there. So I did about a tablespoon or so, maybe like a tablespoon and a half. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can do it. If you're not a huge garlic person, you can skip the step and just do like a little salt, a little olive oil. Or you can do less. But I like it super herby, like salty, like kind of like, you know, if you're getting takeout pizza and it has like that seasoning on the crust, that's like the best part. So I'm just kind of mixing that up and letting it kind of absorb the oil while I'm partaking so that it's ready to go once I'm done like doing all the steps. So now I'm doing the pan rotation here. I'm kind of running out of room in my little kitchen, but I'm making it work. Then at one point I realized like, oh my gosh, when my boys are teenagers and my daughter is older, like, and if we only have, like, if we just stay with 4 and no more, I'm gonna for sure be making 6 pizzas. Like, I'm gonna have to use my convection oven because there's no way. Like, my husband can eat like just one whole pizza by himself on a hungry day. So here's my sauce. You can see the flour. Like, look at me. I'm just like in a rush, like a mad woman. I love that there's flour on my arm for some reason. So just take a regular spoon, or you can take a ladle. Sorry, tired. And you can do like the old traditional, like take the ladle out with the sauce and then like use the bottom of the ladle to spread it. But I'm just using a spoon. That works too. And I have a bunch of them. And then I can just throw it in the dishwasher instead of hand washing my nice ones. So go ahead and put it on your pizzas. I'm doing this while my other ones are partaking still. So I got one in the oven and one that I think still needs to go into the oven. So I'm just getting these 2 ready. It's nice when they're all ready because then I can sit down and enjoy food with my family and then just like jump up, put one in, and then sit back down. Because my table's just on the other side of that wall. If you are doing 2 pizzas, you're probably already here. Just flash forward to the spreading of the sauce. And you can put your cheese down. You can do whatever kind of layering you want here. You can do like toppings. Like you could do like your onions, then you could do your cheese, then you could do pepperoni and like a little sprinkle of Parmesan on top. Or you could do all the cheese and then just throw the toppings on top. You could do cheese and then toppings and then a little sprinkle of your cheese again. Or some like fresh mozzarella just right on top. You could do it however you want. But I'm just putting my cheese blend right on there and calling it good because I am in a hurry. If you're watching this because you are in a hurry, just do cheese. If you're worried they're not going to have veggies, get some baby carrot sticks. Cut up some carrots. Cut an apple. Use one of those like apple slicer guys. Boom. There's a side. Does not have to be like an Italian salad with like breadsticks and like sauteed like asparagus or roasted broccoli and Like, you know, it doesn't have to, you can have days like that. You will have days like that, but this is like a go day. If you do have a day like that, like maybe you have some leftovers you can heat up from for a fancy side, like do it. But toddlers, like, they don't even always like, you know, some of the flu stuff I spend time on. So yeah, sometimes I would have a win with just like applesauce. That's a good one to go with pizza. You can see that, like, I kind of tried to divide the cheese in my head into fourths, and then I just tried to grab the amount in the fourth quadrant from my imagination. So yeah, that's kind of how I do it. So those are all ready to go. Now, while my other ones are par baking, I am going to get ready to clean, because no one wants to clean, because it's like right when you're done with dinner, and sometimes when it's a later dinner like this, it's right to bed. And the chaos of bedtime, trying to get 2 toddlers and a teething baby and then a boy down, who we homeschool, and we love, like, reading to him at night is like part of our homeschool in a way. It's just a tradition I've been doing like for so long. So I really like to read to him before bed. And that's kind of our, you know, one-on-one time when I don't get it in the day. So yes, I like to clean the kitchen, because when I get done doing all of the bedtimes, I do not want to go upstairs and see a disaster kitchen. I don't have the energy, and then I don't do it. Or, you know, sometimes my husband even doesn't want to like do it if it's too much, and I'm like, oh, then my whole next morning is crazy. Okay, so I'm putting my 4th pizza into par bake. Now, if you have the 2 pizzas, you hopefully have already, unless you're just here to listen, you've already skipped forward to the part where we're baking the pizzas and they're ready to bake. So if you have a bubble like that, just take your fork that you used earlier, do a little hole into the top layer and gently push down, and your air bubble's gone. Make sure you do this, because if you don't and you put it back in the oven, all of your sauce and cheese will fall off of that spot. My husband one time made pizza and there was a big bubble, and I don't know if he par baked it, maybe he didn't, I can't remember, but it was like a big dome. It was the funniest thing, and all the pizza toppings, I felt so bad because I know how much work it takes, like slid around down to the crust, so like the middle was just like a little bit of sauce with bread. It still tasted amazing, but it was pretty funny to watch how big it poofed up. It was like a science experiment. And if that happens to you, that's okay. Just laugh about it. Be like, it's still pizza. It's still gonna taste good. My kids will still probably rave about it. This is a really also fun time. Like, if you're in a crunch, just do it. If you have time, let your kids help. They love this part. Usually I have it lower on the table. I'll bring it to the kitchen table and I'll have all the pizzas out, and then they can just, as long as they're not too hot and I can kind of let them cool a bit, then I have them help me put all the toppings on. And they love doing that. Oh my gosh, they love it. And it helps them get involved with they like to eat it more, I swear, when they help make it. But let's be real, not every moment is like Instagram moment. Not every moment's like a picture worthy, like, oh, we're doing this together. Sometimes you just got to get stuff done so that they can sleep and be healthy. And that's okay. So while my last pizza is par baking, I'm going to slip my gloves on for that 4 minutes and I'm going to clean. Now, if your first 2 pizzas are done, well, they're probably not, you're probably baking them right now, go ahead and clean as well. This is like another time. Anytime there's pizza in the oven and you have gotten as far as you can with the other pizzas, you need to be cleaning up your supplies. You will thank yourself later when you have a nice calm evening. You can like make yourself a cup of tea or coffee, like whatever your vibe is. Maybe it's just like juice, I don't know. And just sit back and enjoy the clean, like put some calm like jazz music on. I just have like a vibe in my head right now. For me, I actually last night the kids were so hyper, I actually put Skyrim. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever, it's like a video game that's kind of like a I don't know, like medieval, there's dragons and stuff, but they have a really, if you ever look up like Skyrim ambience on YouTube, they have the most chill, there's like nature sounds, but it kind of has these tones in it, and it is so chill. And I definitely had that vibe last night going. So, yep, I'm just cleaning my Cuisinart. It's pretty easy with the cheese. It's not too bad. Now for my cleaning, if there is too much buildup, I have this little scrubby to get like most of the food particles off, and then I will use my like soaped up sponge. And I like that because it doesn't gunk up my sponge as much, and it like lets it live longer. And I also use that little like scratchy rag to just get off gunk on my plate, so it's kind of like my food gunk, scrubber, and I can throw it in the dishwasher to clean it. And it's environmentally more friendly, so I like to use that. And then it extends the life of my sponge, which keeps it out of the trash a little longer. So I am done doing the dishes because the last pizza is done par baking. Yay! So I'm going to go ahead and grab that out. See, my son kind of popped in there for a second. I really do my best to kind of cover them up because I do not want them filmed. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but okay, let's see. I got my pizza out, and now the first pizza is going in, you guys. You're going to set your timer. And I don't know how your ovens work. Mine cook kind of fast, so I do anywhere from like 7 to 8 minutes. You could start at 6 and just see how it goes. You don't want the cheese to get too dark. You don't want the crust around it to get too dark. I think, it's, if you have a light, you can just kind of watch it as you're in the kitchen, like just kind of look over, check it. Try not to open it too much. I just feel like it's never good to open the oven a bunch. So when you do that and let the heat out, and that's to kind of preheat again, it can kind of make your cooking a little wonky, or your baking, I guess, because you are baking this. I'm adding sauce now to my last and final pizza. I love my last pizza because it's so fun. It's either like it gets all the things because I didn't estimate correctly, and it has like so much extra cheese and so much extra veggies and toppings. It's like the loaded pizza. But with having it kind of par baked and a lot of them out, I can kind of spread the cheese out and make sure it's a little more even, which is what I'm doing here. It's not going to be the fun loaded one tonight. I'm just getting that all set. My kids were coming over and was giving them little cheese pieces. Sometimes you gotta do. I don't like to ruin their appetite, but I do like to give them little snippets of food. If I do need to be in the kitchen without them there, so that I'm like, okay, just take this, and then they'll, run off with their little treat, and they get so excited. It could even be like just like the simplest little morsel. My middle boy actually will want to eat raw onions. Like, he straight up eats chives out of our garden. Like, he used to eat like raw garlic. He'd like, I'll try it. And I'm like, okay. Not a big piece, mind you. I didn't want to hurt him, but he just loves that, he's like my garden boy too. He's the one that will be out there gardening with me and just has a patience for gardening and cooking and baking. Kind of like my husband. My husband likes to do those things as well. So now I'm just using my kind of ick food scrubber guy, and I am getting the most of the dough off before I go in with my sponge. I'm just cleaning it out. The faster you do that, the better it is. And if you can just soak it, like let's say you just can't right now, you need to sit down while your pizzas are cooking because you're literally exhausted and you can't stand, and this has been a lot for you. No worries. I have days like that. Just soak it. Just make sure it's soaking, because dough becomes like cement if you leave it there. Okay, I'm just scrubbing up my other dishes from today. So you might have some dishes to get done that you left from lunch or maybe even from breakfast. And I am not judging you. And you know, a really great podcast that I love, I don't know if they have a YouTube channel, I should check, but they actually have this great, I love them so much, they have a podcast called Clean With Me, and seriously have helped me through so many rough days as a mom. So shout out to them. You should take a listen if you have Spotify. I don't even pay for Spotify, I just have a free account, and they do have like a paid version you can do for like longer episodes, but I just use what they have. They do, I think, a free one every Wednesday. I think they still do that. But there's so many on there. You can find all kinds of them, like just kitchen, just laundry, your whole house, just bedrooms and bathrooms, like deep cleaning, decluttering. Like you can find all of them, and they just kind of talk with you, and kind of similar to what I'm doing here, but they give some really good tips about cleaning. And my mom was so busy growing up. My parents own lots of businesses, and so they didn't always have time to teach me all of the skills necessary, and I wasn't homeschooled. I wasn't, I didn't get to be home. I had a lot of activities, so I didn't learn to do a lot of these kind of housekeeping things until I got older. It's kind of like a lost art form, but these women know what they're talking about, and they have some great tips for you. So yeah, Clean With Me. Check them out. Maybe when you're done and you have some more to clean, they would be a good one. So with my cutting board, yeah, just really, especially if I used onions, I really like to put a lot of soap just right on the board, especially for wooden boards. So here I am just kind of cleaning up my countertops. I have a couple minutes to kill while that's going. You can wipe things down, you could sweep, you could grab your plates out early and napkins. If you have 2 pizzas, you're probably done at this point, so congratulations. I don't know if you're going to watch the end of the video if you've just done 2, and I hope you're enjoying your pizza. But maybe you clicked because you're like, dang, I want to make 4 pizzas. And it's nice if maybe you're just by yourself, but you want to put some in the freezer. What I would do is par-bake it. If you like, let's say you're like, oh gosh, I got to go somewhere. And you just have like all these par-baked pizzas. You can let them cool. You can like get a little piece of cardboard, cut a circle around it, and then to put it underneath, like kind of trace out a circle. You probably maybe even reuse it, and then cover it with saran wrap and throw it in your freezer. And then when you're ready, just saran wrap it and then just put it right into your oven and cook it. Not with the cardboard. Take the cardboard out first. Just put it directly, maybe put some, you probably have a little bit of cornsmeal, but you could put a little extra cornmeal. So yay, our first pizza is done, guys. So it should be about the same timing for you. Maybe you need a little longer, maybe you don't. You're going to want to take your olive oil mixture, just kind of give it a quick stir again, and then go ahead and brush that on your crust, even a little onto the cheese part if you want. And it tastes so good. You're going to do it when it's hot because that'll help it absorb into the crust. Makes it shiny, makes it beautiful, makes it taste amazing, and everyone will finish their nice crispy crust this way. I have a little girl, I don't know if you guys heard her, I paused it. She's teething her top teeth right now, so she's quite fussy. Okay, so I just have this beautiful round cutting board, but any cutting board can do. I just kind of bloop, transfer it with the spatula. And grab tongs and do it gently. Just don't hurt yourself. I'm putting that over on the kitchen table. I'm calling the kids over because it's kind of cooling right now. So I'm just like kind of letting them know dinner is coming. So if you are getting that on the table, you can let your kids know that dinner is coming. Maybe you have kids that are just going to jump and put their face in it. So maybe don't put it on the kitchen table. Maybe put it on a countertop somewhere where they can't get to it, because it is going to be kind of hot and you don't want them to to touch it. My kids are pretty good about listening. I'm grabbing some plates, smaller ones for the little guys and bigger ones for the bigger ones of us, especially my husband because he eats so much of this pizza. So here is a view of our pizza, and here is a cooked pizza. Now I'm cutting it up with my pizza cutter. Now every 7 minutes, go ahead and put a new one in. I'm serving it up now, and I'm going to eat a slice with my kids usually until we clear the pizza. When the next one comes out, this one's usually all gone by that point, and then I will just put the new one on. We'll also cut it up. I'll sit back down. We'll serve it. And that's just kind of how I do it as I go. Otherwise, I would just, the initial pizza would be cold. And this is kind of like, I feel like a European-esque way to do it. It's so good. I hope you guys had fun. We did it. Oh my gosh, I want to cry. It is a beautiful pizza. I hope you enjoy it with your family. Leftovers will go fast. Love this camera angle. Was trying to get a bite, and yes, I did block out my face. So thanks guys. Tune in again. I hope you have a great night. Okay, bye.